Oh, this is backwards. Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. What I'm doing here is a what you're reading. I'm talking about comics that I read since the last time I did a what you're reading. This is slanted, it drives me nuts. And then I got some back issue Bonanza stuff, and then maybe some extra stuff to show off. Forgive me, I got a mouthful of Old Dutch Canadian. Since my wife is from Canada, we order from Canadian favorites every once in a while. And then I always throw in something different to try out. I'll just get rid of tissues that I was wiping my salty hands with. Okay, so we got Random Booby. Random Booby's in the house. How you doing? Beautiful Booby. And this is an open invite. If anybody wants to pop in and talk to me, I'll put a star over here. And this is Heroic Tales #1. It's going to be winding down soon, and Heroic Tales #2 will be the active campaign. I will shut down. I know it's an ongoing store, but there'll be like differences and stuff like that. And I want to be able to, on campaign 2, if people come and buy back comics, I want to make sure that I have enough. So I'll be shutting down the this storefront on Fund My Comic. April 4th, 9 p.m. will be the launch date. There's a couple of things I need to do before then, and then it's off to the races. So there we go. So now, just Random Booby or anybody watching, how does it look? How does it sound? And let's talk about comics. So the first comic that I'm going to talk about is Kick-Ass #5 by Mark Miller. This is so good. This is so good. Hottest comic book in the world ever, it says. How's that for hyperbole? I embarrassingly have a huge stack of Mark Miller comics that I haven't read yet. I mean, I was up to 22 long boxes, but I'm down to 18 long boxes of comics that I haven't read yet. So I'm like, I gotta get Mark Miller. Might come back on my channel, and if so, I would be really embarrassed if he asked me questions about his comics, and I was like, had to admit that I didn't read. But so I started at Kick-Ass, and I'm going back, and this was so much. I remember irrationally being upset by this comic, and now I was laughing. It is so good. It is so good. So there you go. That is Kick-Ass. So this is probably, yes, this is #7, #6. So good. I liked. Oh, we got a new name in here. How you doing, Raquel Rodriguez, fanboy 1978? How you doing, Raquel? Did I say your name right? Nice collection. Thank you. Thank you. And this is still slanted. Drives me nuts. I hate when it's slanted. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Everything sound good? Everything look good? I My biggest problem with the Kick-Ass movie is they toned down Big Daddy. Big Daddy was a comic book nerd. When they opened up a suitcase, it was filled with comic books. I thought that was a neat touch, and they left it out of the movie. That is the only thing that bothered me. #7. So good. So good. So good. I really, really enjoyed this. Oh, 8. 8. So when Titans pimp slap. And one of the things that I'm really impressed with is Mark Miller being a Scottish fella up there in Scotland, how he got like the American voice down. Like I couldn't write a comic in Scotland. There's no way. Some Tim Hortons coffee. We got Ernest. How you doing? How you doing, Ernest? You said my name right, and I am good, 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 good. And again, if anybody wants to pop in, the starred comment is an invite to pop in. So this was the last one. This was good. I really, really enjoyed it. So I put the stack upside down so the comics will come out in the correct order, and a little bit of drama and surprise. Who knows? What could this possibly be? Could it be Superman #1? Could it be Action Comics #1? No, it's Star Wars #6. Okay, I didn't read this yet. This is actually for Sunday Comics on Sunday. So this one I didn't read yet. So I'll put that over there. That shouldn't have been in this pile. See? Surprises, surprises. Random Booby says, wasn't the twist of the comic that he was a comic book nerd and him becoming a vigilante was wish fulfillment? Absolutely. He was an accountant who was bored with his life. and he stole the origin of the Punisher. His wife wasn't dead. He just took off with his daughter, and he just wanted to have like adventures and a sidekick, you know. And he took all of his comic book collections, and he was going around selling, like, he had like multiple copies of like 9.9s of Amazing Fantasy 15 and stuff. I roared when I saw that the first time, you know. How much is Batman 428 worth today? Geez, I don't know. I don't know. How much is Amazing Spider-Man 300th worth? I don't know. I don't know. What you do is go to mycomicshop.com. That's all one word, and look at what they're selling it for, because they are the most they are the fairest price in back issues. So whatever they're selling them for, and if you do that, post it in the chat. Let me know, because now you got me curious, because I think I have both of those. Well, I know I have Amazing Spider-Man 300. So what do we got here? Oh yes, Jack Kirby's 2001: A Space Odyssey. This is a bizarre comic. Beautiful Jack Kirby comic. This was the comic that brought Jack Kirby back to Marvel, and they let him do whatever he wanted. And as far as I know, this had nothing to do with the Marvel universe. It was just his own little crazy story, and it really didn't have much to do with the movie either. It was just Jack Kirby exploring space themes. Really cool. And I don't know how well it was received. I think it lasted 11 issues. For people who say Jack Kirby can't draw sexy women, I don't know, man. Am I old fashioned in thinking that this is just like sexy? I don't know. How much is the Death of Superman worth today? Probably 50 cents. They printed 1 million of them, and everybody still has them in plastic bags. So what do we got here? Oh, this is 2001: A Space Odyssey. This is the first appearance of oh, what did I do? What did I do? It's not focusing. But this is the first appearance of Machine Man. So, but they call him Mr. Machine. And this is weird, because this, Machine Man Aaron Stack X-51, he becomes part of the Marvel universe. So this is just like a weird little, and the comic becomes about Mr. Machine from this point forward. Like, it was just a bizarre comic. I really liked the first 5 or so, when it was more tied to 2001, but it just this is just like, this comic should have just been called Jack Kirby Musings, and then trying not to get canceled. Is number 9, the second appearance of Mr. Machine, otherwise known as Machine Man. Yeah, just I'm such a Jack Kirby fan. Number 10, Space Odyssey. Mr. Machine battles overwhelming evil for the one thing he may not possess: a soul. Hotline to Hades. Yeah, he's fighting everybody to get his face mask back, because that's like his entity. And it is kind of horrifying. Just imagine you were captured and they took your face, and that it shows him like almost panic stricken, trying to get his face back. You take our face, we're dead. You know what I mean? But you take Machine Man's face, or Mr. Machine's face. It was like, it was his link to Aaron. Not Aaron Stack is his name, but his father, the creator. It was like, it was almost borderline body horror. I think the 90s changed people's idea of what a beautiful comic book woman should look like. Nowadays, Kirby women look old-fashioned. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with old-fashioned. Nothing wrong with old-fashioned. I on Twitter, I follow a site called Noir Chick, Noir, and they just post pictures, sometimes risque, sometimes of like from the 40s and 50s. Oh man, you got to tell me, like Ava Gabor and Hedy Lamarr and all that, they're just classic beauties, not that there's anything wrong with today's beauties, but there's nothing wrong with old fashioned when it comes to beautiful women. I just did a stream about Jack Kirby on my alt channel. Oh, cool. You follow me on Twitter, right? Send me a link on Twitter, or put a link in the description. Don't put it in the chat, because it's hard to find stuff in the chat once the stream is over. I have Batman 300th from 1970. Yeah, I don't think I have that one. I don't think I have that one. I started collecting Batman with I think around 400, but I do have some random older issues in my collection. Is Savage Dragon 272. You know, I put a picture of this on Twitter and it caused like a stir. You know, it's just Eric Larson. There's something wrong with Eric Larson. Is 273. Bloodbath. He's just like an old. He lives in San Francisco, I guess, where like people don't have any sexual restraints, you know. So Savage Dragon 275. This was the one I put a picture from. I took a picture of a panel, put it on Twitter, and caused quite a stir. You know, it's a shame because Savage Dragon, I still get it because I'm at fault. I'm like, oh, this was 274, Mr. Glum, and then 275. Because I want to get to 300 also. I would get, I don't know. Blame me. It's my fault. Hey, Matt's here. Matt, this is an open invite stream. If anybody wants to come in and talk comics, I'm just talking about what I read since the last time I did one of these streams. Yeah, I enjoyed Dragon in the beginning too. Everybody did. It was a great comic. It was such a good comic. Okay, here's Gargoyles. I was missing issue 7. I think this issue sold out because of this cover. And one of the things that Dynamite is doing is, there's no joke, there's like 25 variant covers. So I just, unless it's like an artist that I really like Josh Howard did a variant covers for a comic called Sweetie Pie or something like that. And I got the Josh Howard variants to support my buddy Josh. But for these comics, I want the A covers. So this particular cover sold out. And there was a million other covers, but I wanted the A cover. Like, I'm so anal retentive. All of my Gargoyles comics had the A covers. So I couldn't read it because I was missing issue 7. So I finally got a copy. And this guy on Twitter is such a wokey that I was afraid. But the comic is just solid comic, 90s Gargoyles comic. The first issue, it was terrible. The first issue was terrible because it was world building the comic, which is what I was doing with my comic Heroic Tales until other people told me you can't do that. You gotta ease it in, you gotta get the people to care about your comic. If you read the Marvel Gargoyle comics, they were outstanding. And then once he got that world building issue out of the way from 2 on, it was pretty good. But again, I got all the A covers for these Gargoyles, and now I read them all and got caught up. What, isn't that a beautiful cover? Just so good. Such a beautiful cover. I really like the Gargoyles universe. Just, look at that cover. Again, I just want the A covers. Hey, Marcus is here. Marcus Kellegrew is here, but he's driving. Yeah, don't crash. Don't crash. Oh, so this is number 4. Okay, so I'm showing them out of order. Okay, so I must. Okay, so this is 3. The baby is born. Look at that. So, okay, yeah. So this was the issue that I was missing and sold out. Okay, this was the one I couldn't find because I had them all, but I couldn't read them because I was missing this issue. I guess because the baby was born, this sold. I don't know. I just really like these. A lot of purple, but whatever. This is number 9. This is excellent. This is the story that I've been. Demona is such. I knew you were going to show up, Herrenberg. Once I talked about Demona, I remember you telling me how much you liked Demona. I summoned you from the ether. This is a great story, and it's basically my plot for the X-Men movie. This is Goliath gets arrested. The Gargoyles literally bust him out of jail. Boom! Like they blow a hole in the wall and take him. And he's like, "I'm not leaving. I'm going to stand trial, and I want to get legal rights in court of law for the Gargoyles." which is what the first X-Men movie should have been. So, you know, there you go. Okay, this is really weird. It's funny to have a Sandman comic, but it's Bill Willingham, Kevin Nollan, Mark Buckingham, all of these people. And it's everything you ever wanted to know about the dreams, but we're afraid to ask. So this is a Sandman comic based on Neil Gaiman. Sandman. I know Neil Gaiman is the bad guy now, but I'm not going to pretend that I didn't like the comics. I love the Sandman comics, and for some reason this escaped my notice. And when I was inventorying my comics, I saw that this popped up, and I was like, I don't have this. So I finally got it, finally read it, and then you find out about Neil Gaiman being a total perv. I think I was too little to watch Gargoyle TV show when it came out. Well, still there. You can still watch them. They had a season 1 DVD. I've had that, and I think they finally released season 2. And then there was like a spin-off show about gargoyles. Yeah, season 2. Yeah, season 1 I think had 12 episodes, and then season 2 had like 52 episodes. And I think that kind of broke Greg Weisman. Like it was just like too much work, too much pressure. And then there was a third season that was like a spin-off of the gargoyles. Hey, I got my drive-by blessing by Zach Tan. How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, okay, Strike Force America. But before I talk about it, I will throw an invite if anybody wants to pop in and talk comics. This is by Comico. This cover is by Sam Keith, some early Sam Keith. But look at this. So what is this? This is a spin-off of The Elementals by Bill Willingham. And Bill, it was by Comico. I always forget if it's Comico or Comico, but I always say Comico. That's just what I'm going to say. And it was the first non-Marvel, non-DC company I just became obsessed with. Why? Because I played Villains and Vigilantes, like I always talk about, and Bill Willingham did artwork for Villains and Vigilantes, and he also wrote 2 supplements, 2 modules. So I became a big fan of Bill Willingham. And it was called The Death Duel at the Destroyers, and the Destroyers were the big baddies in the Elementals comic. So I was obsessed with the Elementals. And then because of that, I had to get everything I could find by Comico, a company that was just mismanaged. It had great talent, great comics, and then poor management. And this is a spinoff. This was Strike Force America. They were another super team in the Elementals universe. Here he is fighting Ratman, who is one of the destroyers. And this is the only issue to come out. So what a shame. What a shame. And for some reason, this comic has sat in my to read box for over 10 years. I bought this literally a decade ago. And I just buy so many comics that I forgot about it. So I finally read it. I was like, why? It's one issue. Just read it. Heroinberg says, wow, I never knew about that spinoff. I only have the solo titles like Morningstar, Fathom. Yeah. And then there was Strike Force America. And yeah, there was a Morningstar mini, a Fathom mini, and a Vortex mini. And I think the Vortex mini was only lasted 1 issue. I think that's when Comico went out of business and took all these things with them. It's a shame. Comico sounds more natural unless it's Japanese. Comico or Comico had some great stuff. Yeah, it had the original Grendel. Some real Evil Eye, number 10. For some reason it took me forever to find this. I am really enjoying this series. Just such quirky art. And have you ever read a comic and then you just fill in music in your head? Like I got some mysterious music in my head whenever I read these, and I didn't realize it for a long time. But when I'm reading Evil Eye, it's like some creepy clarinet music. I wish I could open up my brain and let you hear the soundtrack that my brain has developed, almost unconsciously just by watching this. But I just really love this. There's 2 stories. There's Reflections in a Glass Scorpion and Pellicula. And Pellicula is this girl. and it's just the like adventures of Caligula walking around, and it's very. I heard about it because Brian Bow said it's very. It inspired a lot of Wolf and Batsy, and reading this, I could see, and it's 13 issues or 14 issues. It's around there, early teens. And the first ones are easy to find, and they're getting harder and harder to find, and more expensive. I think there's issue. Oh, okay. I thought there was issue 11 in here. This is. Oh, and I didn't realize I forgot to check the comments. I never watch later playlists. There's quite a few videos that have been there for years. I have a watch later playlist. Oh, I see it. Yeah, me too. It's funny because I forgot all about it until I checked. I was like, why am I saving this? One of them was like, what do Japanese people think about America? When did I save that? I ended up watching it. Yes, there was also a Monolith mini. There was a Monolith mini, a Vortex one shot. It was supposed to be a mini. Morning Star, and then there was like 3 or 4 sex specials. People keep making stuff. Let me guess, she's secretly black but pretending to be white because society is racist. Who are you talking about? Caligula? The girl on the cover looks very familiar. This girl, this is Britt's sister. So this cover is done by the same guy that did Invincible. So she probably has that Viltrumite physique because all the Viltrumite women are va 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 voom. But this is Britt. Britt is I've been wrong. I've been saying he's invincible. He is totally invincible, meaning like he can't be harmed, but he's not that much stronger. So I'd say like he's peak human strength, maybe stronger, and he's just like they use him as a bludgeon and stuff like that. And then he's crafty, and he's like 80 years old. This is his sister, so this is Britt and Brittany, and they're just like I really like it. It was written by Kirkman for a while. Then he handed it off to somebody, and the transition to the new writer was 2 issues that were just awful, and then he fell into his stride, and I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Yes, Brit is an Invincible spinoff. I'm currently halfway through season. Yeah, I watched season 1 and I really liked it. I got to get back to season 2. So these are all like this is Invincible is Brit. I forget this guy, but he's cybernetic. He works for like the same agency under Cecil. And this is Wolfman. This was another Robert Kirkman comic. He's a werewolf, but he acts like a superhero. So like supernatural people don't come after him. So he's a werewolf superhero. Yeah, I was just joking. Oh, okay. Okay. Joke away. So here we got the last few issues of the James Robinson run on the Fantastic Four. So it's it's funny. I'll like this issue is like they're doing all the stuff like how does the Fantastic Four launch rockets in the middle of Manhattan? How does the Fantastic Four as a gateway to another dimension? And then all of that stuff backfires on them and they're in legal trouble. And then you're like, oh man, the Fantastic Four is in legal trouble. And it bothered me. But you know what? We're gonna go to a later issue or a later earlier issue in the stack, and we'll talk about that. So we'll circle back as the old press secretary used to say. But this I don't like. This is just a lousy concept. So Ben gets arrested. He's framed for the murder of the puppet master, and he's thrown in jail. And this jail has dampeners so that nobody has super strength. That's a technology that why doesn't every superhero have that? Why don't they have portable ones? Why don't they? To me, that's like a cat they shouldn't let out of the bag. Once we have the ability to nullify super strength and stuff like that. So why doesn't Shield just carry those projectors? You know what I mean? And I think that's like a mistake technology. Here is the annual. This is this issue literally pissed me off. So Sue goes. This little girl's 3 years old. This is Valeria. She's a super genius, and she went off to go live with Dr. Doom because she's like Dr. Doom's got to do good deeds now. So she like shamed Dr. Doom, and then Dr. Doom is trying to, I don't know, live out his fantasy or whatever of having a kid. So he's like basically letting this girl lead him around. That's whatever. So the mother comes and says, we're going through some difficulties now. You got to come back with us. And she like lectures her. You're 3 years old. I don't care how smart you are. Listen to your mom. You know. So I got a little mad at that. Respect. I don't care how smart you are. Just like if in that old Alan Moore Miracle Man, when the little girl lectured her father and stuff, you're still a little girl. I don't care how smart and meta evolved you are. You listen to you that. And this is issue 12. This is Spider-Man rightfully lecturing Johnny Storm. Johnny Storm, he lost his powers and he started acting like a male version of Paris Hilton. And Johnny Storm, like, let's go. We got to go save your team. I mean, Spider-Man. So they did a good job with Spider-Man. The art is outstanding. And I think that's the last issue, or is it? No, it's not. Okay, here's 13. So now they're back in the blue because they're getting the team back together, and they're tired. They're starting to realize that they're being manipulated, that this isn't all just legal troubles. A bad guy is behind it. Okay, that's something they could deal with. They go back into the blue to deal it. And I think, okay, this is 14. This is the last issue of this numbering, so I didn't realize it continues in a different number. You know what I mean? In a different numbering system. So I thought I was done with the James Robinson, but then there's like Fantastic Four 624. This series just messes up with people like me who would just care about the numbering system. So I thought I was done with the James Robinson issue, but I think there's 3 more issues that I don't think I have. Oh, every time I say that, 642. So this is issue 642. Yeah, so it continues in this. This is Star Wars number 4. So I guess 643 is on the way. So this was Star Wars number 4. I did this on Sunday Comics 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So I couldn't put it away until I did my video. This is Resident Alien. Now, I don't know if anybody's watching the TV show, but I love this comic. He came to Earth. He was just an observer, and he crashed on Earth. Just an accident, and he didn't kill anybody. He didn't do anything wrong, but he knows what's going to happen to him if people discover an alien walking around on Earth. So he uses his advanced mental powers to create an illusion where he looks like a normal human. He stumbles upon a doctor who is dead, so he takes the doctor's identity. So he's now the town's doctor, and the cops come up to him and say, "Can you help us solve a murder? We found a dead body and whatever." So now he's solving crimes and being a doctor because he's super intelligent. He learned everything he needed to know to be a doctor because that's how intelligent his race is. And he's a good guy. Well, he meets a girl, they fall in love, and they do what people who fall in love do. And it's just sweet and wholesome. But the TV show is he comes to Earth to annihilate everybody and commit genocide. You know what I mean? And he's gonna win over and become a good guy in the show, but can't you be good from the beginning? He has an arc. At the risk of spoilers, the aliens come and he doesn't want to go. He decides Earth is his new home. And what is this? This is Book of Life. The baby's born, and now other races are coming to Earth, and I think it's like, oh, okay, an alien human hybrid is on Earth, born on Earth. It's Earth is now like ready to join like the interstellar political community. So who knows what next series is going to be. I really like it. It's kind of wholesome. It's not woke. Maybe it is, but it's so well written. Yeah, Resident Alien. Interesting premise. Hey Ojo, how you doing? Greetings, Ojo. Oh wow, a lot of. And vulnerability is a fitting power. The Brit sounds like a scrapper from just his name. Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's clever, but he's not like a scientific genius. Like that's my character, the Patriarch. He's smart, but he's not like scientifically smart. So I kind of like that. Like he figures things out. He'll come out with a good tactic, but he's not like the grand like Cecil, the ruler of that agency in chess whose name escapes me. He's like the grand strategy guy, whereas Brit is like a problem solver. It's pretty good. I really like it. The guy, Cybernetic, is Donald Ferguson. He keeps getting rebuilt. Cecil's right hand man at the GDA, the Global Defense Agency, right? That's what it's called. Yeah, Donald Ferguson. He's got a lot of character development in this series. You know, his poor wife. Bendis Power Series had a dampener device in their prisons. I'd always wonder why they didn't make portable dampener. Yeah, yeah, and they look like fluorescent lights. Maybe there was 16 tons of machinery above the wall and everything like that. But yeah, once you can make a power dampening device, it just begs, why doesn't everybody have them? Mr. Fantastic probably gets away with a lot because America doesn't want him to go to. Yes. Respect your Genesis, kid. Absolutely. Where are we now? DC Martin Manhunter much? What do you mean? Oh, the Resident Alien? Yeah, he looks like the typical like grays that we always see, that's like burnt into our collective unconsciousness. Watch the first season of Resident Alien. It was okay, pretty much the modern version of Nanu, but it was few. Yeah, well, they're Native American in the comic. That's one of my pet peeves that goes back all the way from the beginning. Yeah, so yeah, she is Native American. She's an Indian or Amarand or whatever. She's Native American. Her father is the chief of the tribe, so that's right out of the comic. They live somewhere in the Northwest where there are, right on the outskirts of like a regular town and a reservation. So that's all part of the comic. But the thing I don't like is all the Indians could, because they have magic spiritual powers, they could see through his disguise. So she knows he's an alien. Her father knows he's an alien, you know, and the chieftain talks to her through dreams, through magic, Indian magic. That's my only pet peeve. Every Indian in comics, Native American, has magic powers. He gives her potatoes. Hey, Joe Dog, how you doing? I was reading my favorite Donna Troy story, the New Teen Titans 7, 8, and 9, Volume 2, 1984, and the New Teen Titans. Who is Donna Troy? Who is Donna Troy is one of my favorite. They were that is such a good story. What happened in 7, 8, and 9? Remind me. We were living in peaceful harmony with nature until the gray man came. Tarzan number 3, The Altar of the Flaming God. These were the kind of comics that these are the kind of comics that I wouldn't touch as a kid. I bought Tarzan number 1. I told you it was like the first comic I bought multiple copies. So I'm like, this is going to be worth so much money. It was my first attempt at speculation, and you could still probably get it for $2. It just shows you how stupid I am with money. But this is so good. It's really good. I in the past 2 years, I've been telling myself to read all of the novels that are like based on comics or influenced comics or important to comics. So, matter of fact, I forgot I was reading the Doc Savage. I got to finish that. I'm like 2 chapters from finishing. But anyway, I read the first Tarzan novel, and what a page turner! It was excellent. It was so good. Like I liked it better than John Carter. I liked it better than the Conans that I read. I liked it better than the Doc Savage that I read. I read the E.C. Doc Smith, the Lensman, which is like the first space opera. But so I read the first 2 Tarzan novels. I thought they were so good. So now I'm reading the comics. The only thing I could criticize it about is they refer to stuff, and then there's a little asterisk, and it says, it happened in the Tarzan novel. I don't know. You shouldn't refer to stuff like, if it's a Marvel comic, it should only refer to stuff that happened in previous Marvel comics. But whatever. What do I know? Look at that. So it's John Buscema and DEC. Who's the? I know Marcus will tell. Marcus, who is DEC? I know you're driving. Where are we? Harrowenberg. Resident Alien takes place in Colorado. Oh, it's Colorado? Yeah, okay. I was mixed up. I thought it was in Washington State. That mystical native stuff is whatever. Yeah. What were you saying? Yeah, the woke elements, the native. Is it woke, or because they would do it. You know, I lost your comment. Uh, is it woke because they were doing mystical, magical Indians since I was a kid? You know what I mean? It's trite. It's just like, oh man, you see an Indian, he's gonna start doing magic. It's just I enough's enough. Who is Donna Troy is one of life's unsolved mysteries. Yeah, poor character. Donna Troy and Helena Prince or Helena, what the hell is her name? Helena Trevor are the two most screwed characters in DC as far as nobody knows what their story is. At least you still have enough money to afford your own comic book room. Took me 54 years. Amazing cover for Tarzan. It is, isn't it? Joe Dog. This is where Tana Troy was in anger with the Amazons and her mother Queen Hilbert and Liv were captured. And Paradise Island was destroyed. Was that the Baxter series? Oh, here's another Tarzan. So now Tarzan. Oh, this one I didn't like. DEC is Dave Cockrum. Okay, Dave Cockrum. Wow. John Buscema and Dave Cockrum. Look at that. That is a great cover, though. This cover, it doesn't say who does it, but this issue bothered me because at the end of this issue, Law of Opar, her ape men throw a rocket, it hits Conan on the head and knocks him out. And it allows the other guy, the bad guy, to steal jewels and run off. And then this issue is him with amnesia, wandering around, killing leopards and stuff. That's another trope. That's up there with the mystic. Indian is getting hit in the head and having amnesia. Those are two old dusty tropes that could go away. Here is my role-playing book, Villains Vigilantes, that I was talking about. Very influential in my life. I don't know why that's in my stack O comics. Old Dirty Fatty. Hey, how you doing? I know it's a sacrilege, but Buscema Tarzans are far better than Kubert's ones. And I like Buscema better just because I like Buscema better, because I'm a Marvel fanboy growing up. But is it a sacrilege to have a preference? I don't know. Yeah, it was Thea that kidnapped him. Yes, that was a surprisingly, shockingly story for me as a kid. That's when like Thea would love up on some men and then burn them to death after knocking her up. So she'd have that was, yeah. DEC is Dave Cockrum. Okay, I'm glad I didn't speculate who I thought it was. You're right, it's trite, but occasionally produces hotness like the Talisman of Dawnstar. Yes, well, Shaman gets a pass because he's the Indian shaman. It's in the name. You know what I mean? Shaman gets to be the magical Indian because that's the whole premise of the character, the magical Indian. And then the magical Indian's daughter or whatever. And Dawnstar was super. But I'm talking about like every regular Indian guy, like Spider-Man goes upstate camping and he runs into the mystic Indian family that are, pure and whatever. I was watching a documentary with my wife, and they were talking about how like the primitive prehistorical person lived in a constant state of war and pretty much had like PSTD their entire lives. It was survival and fear, and the strangers meant danger. Like we're talking like caveman time. Like there was one tribe that they found. I think it was in like Kashmir around there, that they found that it was a society of only like 50 people, and they literally had mass graves of thousands of bodies. They just killed anybody they went near, and none of the bones were men. So they killed all the men and captured all the women. And that's, I guess, how they bred or whatever. It was just, like we think like, oh, it was all peaceful and stuff like, but that's the way Native Americans lived, in a constant state of war. They weren't magical. It's all lovey-dovey. It was a 3-part story. Yeah, I like that story. I especially love the covers. And I always loved when Memnosine, the Titan of Memory, took off her clothes and the images projected on her body, and Garfield Logan's face was like, I'm finally seeing boobies. That cover is all John Buscema. Are you still driving, Marcus? Pay attention to the road. Yeah, magical Native American or Native other person is a bit before woke. Yeah, like kind of the seeds for it, but not as bad. Sure, it makes them special, but in a liberal, yeah, it, it's pre woke. Like, but it's just I trite is the only word that I could think of, but I'm sure somebody could come up. Kind of implies that natives are not normal, which is weird. Yeah. Okay, this is Silence Do Good. Silence Do Good number 3. What a good cover, Ray is. So Silence Do Good is Benjamin Franklin when he was a kid. He was trolling his brother's newspaper. He was an apprentice for the newspaper by day, and at night he was writing letters under the name of Silence Dogood, who was supposed to be like a 40-year-old unmarried woman, like criticizing society. So there you have it, guys. It's part of American culture to troll. Okay, you know, and so now he gets time traveled into the future, and this is okay. This is cover 2. My only criticism with this comic is issue 1 should have just been about Benjamin Franklin in his own time period, his frustrations working in the newspaper, and then the last page should have been like the reveal of time travel. I would have been like, oh my god, what's going on? Like, not enough Silence Do Good, you know. So like it's like 3 issues are the setup. So the payoff is the 3rd issue. Now he's time traveling agent. So the first 2 issues, I guess it would read better as a collected edition. Like, because of this, I'm rewriting the origin of the patriarch because I realized I was doing this the same thing. And I don't want to criticize Sarge Salter. He's been on my channel. He's a good guy. You know, I but you know what I mean? Like, helpful, constructive criticism. So what do we got here? Oh, this is Star Wars number 5. Hurry, Chewbacca, we're being attacked by the Death Star. So this was last week's Sunday Comics. Oh, I'm ignoring me. Kind of implies that yes, okay. Random booby. For how I see it, Native Americans are humans like the rest of us, so therefore capable of good or bad. Yeah, just like women, just like Indians from India, just like Eskimos, just like Vikings, just like the Greeks, just like Americans, just like Canadians. That's why I try to look at people on an individual basis. That's why when people like Comicsgate, the greatest thing ever, or Comicsgate is like, I don't care. I don't care about Comicsgate. I care about the individuals, So, this guy could fight with that guy, and I'm good with both of them. This guy could, love these guys, and I don't like one of them. That's the way I am. Don't get me started on Eskimos. Oh, Heroinberg always has an interesting comment. The story of Metropolis of Cahokia is pretty intense. They basically trashed the environment and abandoned the city. Yeah, just like Easter Island. Easter Island, they destroyed Easter Island. I forget the name of the people that lived there, but they cut down the entire forest to roll the logs over to make those heads, and then they starved to death. So don't get me started that they lived in one with nature, and they used every part of the buffalo. Yeah, but they also chased tens of thousands of buffaloes off the cliff, and they're rotted. You know what I mean? So knock it off. I like an alternate timeline where Ben Franklin invented an immortal potion and then invented everything else for the next centuries, like the atom bomb. Well, read Redcoat by Ghost Machine. Benjamin Franklin was a wizard. I'm drawing an Inuit story. I have an Inuit story planned for Heroic Tales. But I don't know if I'll ever get to it. It was for the economy. Those giant stones are currency. I have a board game based on that. What's it called? Giants. It's called Giants. And so this is what I said I'm going to circle back to. So this is issue 9. The only Fantastic Fours that are missing are between 1 and 9. So now I have 9 up. So I think I'm missing 2, 3, and 7 or something like that. No, 8. I'm missing the one right before this. But this is the Fantastic Four kicked out of their building. They can't pay the bills. Reed took all the money that they got for patents and inventions, stuff like that, and put it in the stock market, and the stock tanked. And now they're getting evicted. So real world events happening to the Fantastic Four. So I can't really get mad at James Robertson for doing to the Fantastic Four what Jack and Stan did to the Fantastic Four. The funny thing is Submariner buys a movie studio and hires the Fantastic Four to make a movie. So there you go. My favorite scene in this is the Fantastic Four, too poor to get to Hollywood, so they're hitchhiking. Oh, that's what Red Coat is about? Yeah, it's about the founding fathers. They're making a magic circle and they're making a spell. They're basically trying to make themselves immortal, but then the guy who's Red Coat, he falls into the magic circle and he gets made immortal and messes up everything. So I don't know if they duplicated it, but I think Benedict Arnold is also immortal. I think a couple of the founding fathers are immortal. It's pretty good, pretty good. I'm missing an issue, so I think I only read like the first 3 or 4 issues, and I think it's up to 8. It's funny seeing the FF dealing with real problems. Yeah, like I said, I got a little annoyed at James Robinson for giving him real problems, but Jack and Stan gave him real problems. Uh, so this is one of the later issues that I'm missing. It's kind of beat up though, so you know, fair. But this was like the only one I could afford. But this is the first Hulk beats the Thing. I love it. I love Jack Kirby's Hulk. You know, so good, so good. And what's this? Oh, okay. And this is 17. It's funny because I thought I had this for the longest time, but what I had was the Marvel's Collector's Item Classics. Marvel Collector's Item Classics was reprints of older Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. So I thought I had it. You know, I'm like, no, I got that issue. I got that. And then I didn't. I had, so I bought it to plug in a hole. So there you go. So, okay. So now I'm going to reach behind me. So that was all the comics that I read, all my back issues. And then these comics, I'm so glad that I'm finally doing this because so now I can catalog them and put them in my to read stack. These are back issue Bonanza. So somebody had recommended Precious Metal to me. I think it was Adam Lawson. I think it was Adam Lawson recommended this to me. So I picked this up from the World of Little Bird. So I picked that up. I'll check that out. Somebody in the chat said, "Have you read Tor?" I was like, "No, I didn't." So that's all it took for me to seek out issue number 1. So we got some Joe Kubert Tor. It wasn't that expensive. So there we go. There you go, Pretty Girl Sketchbook. You'll like this, Heroinberg. 20 Pretty Girl Pinups by Perez, Miller, Chaikin, Rogers, McLeod, Byrne, and Kane. Pat Broderick, John Beatty, Bill Black, Jerry Ordway, and Joe Stanton. Pretty Girl Sketchbook. You know, it's got a little splotcheroonie over here. Battle Gods. I got this because Oscar Carano does the colors on this. Battle Gods number 1 by Dark Horse. This just looks awesome. This looks awesome. Oh, I got so into this that I forgot to check out However, Tom Hudson of Big Dog and created a hot Inuit superhero in the vein of his critic character, but there's only one issue ever. That's right. The Submariner got all the sunken treasure to himself. Yes, he's incredibly wealthy, and they bring that up every once in a while. He goes and and you'll see that in a future issue of the Patriarch. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Real life lessons. Invest wisely, kids. Yeah, don't make comic books if you want to make money. Don't wake. I drew a hot Sedna, goddess of the sea. Tor is from the 50s originally. Yep. I remember you were working on that. Tom's heroine had an aura borealis power. Okay, so that's Battle Gods. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 2, first printing. So I famously irrationally hated the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I had issue 1 in my hand, and I was disgusted. They're making fun of comic books. They're making fun of Frank Miller. They're making fun of the X-Men. And I never bought it. I call that my $180,000 mistake because I literally had issue number 1 in my hand, and I said no. So I never read it. And I was like, irrationally, I never read, and Tonic Ball was on my channel, and he was like, "I can't believe you never read the Teenage Mutant Ninja." I said, "Well," he goes, "I'll send you some of mine." I'm like, "Yeah, but I collect first printings." So I had to get, but I can't afford a first print. And first off, all the first printings are CG seed, so they're like bazillions of dollars. There's never any in the raw anywhere. So all I could afford was a fifth printing. So I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 fifth printing, and then I got this. This is the first printing. This I could afford. This was reasonable. What do they say? A 4.5. 4.5 out of 5. My comic shop has a scale from 1 to 5. This is Knife Hands, signed by Chuck Dixon, Splato Comics. He sent me a big package of comics. So, I already bought Knife Hands. So, I appreciate that. Pretty cool to have a Chuck Dixon order. And speaking of Chuck Dixon, he sent me these. So this is 1 and 2 of Something Big, Archaven Books, and then this is 3 and 4 of Something Big. So that's now I could log these and put them in my stack to read. It was driving me crazy because I got these like 2 weeks ago. The next thing, Crypto Comics. That's a good name. John the Listeners Never Hate Comics. I know. And I got this to show. I guess I'll show it here and I'll make this big. But I just got this in the mail today. The original artwork for my cover. This is going to be my new thing. Is whenever I get a cover made, I want it, like Jose Garcia. I don't know I don't think he did it on paper, so I don't have that. But Josh requested it on paper, paid for it, and he sent it to me. And Renzo, I specifically asked him, from now on, can you do the covers on paper? And I'll pay you your rate, and then I'll pay you to actually buy them. So so I'm going to start click. So Renzo is going to redraw the Patriarch issue #1 cover on paper for me. So there you go. Wow, it's so cool, huh? I mean, I had to pay for the artwork and then buy it. You know what I mean? So Archaven stuff, cool. Been a while since I've heard of anything about Vox Day. Could have been a dinosaur. Or something big. I think it's a robot. I don't know. But this is really much all I had to say. At 8:30, I'm gonna be on with RJ at the Fourth Age over on his channel. The big news is I'm going to be launching the campaign for Heroic Tales 2 in I can't speak. All of a sudden I lost the ability to speak. So I reached out to Michael Bancroft. I said, can I launch Heroic Tales 2 on your channel? And he was like, sure. He said, when are you hoping to launch? And I said, the 28th of March. And he said, my first opening is April 4th. So, all right. So I got another week of preparation and crossing the T's and getting some pages done and everything like that. So April 4th. It's a little late. I wanted to launch last month, but it didn't seem right. I can't explain why. It just seemed like a lot of the crowd funds weren't making money. And yes, I have to make money to make the comics. It is a business, and a lot of underperforming and a lot of canceled fun. Like my trombone man just got canceled. He canceled it himself. But then there's Tonic Bowl, who's banging it out of the park. So there you go. And Wolf and Batsy did really good. So there you go. So I figured we'll get more work done. I got my team together. I'm a little bit more organized this time. The script is better. I heard some criticisms about my script that I agree with. So I tightened up the script, uh, and the art is so good. The art is so good, and I'm getting it. Like the last time people I launched, people sent me a trailer. So now I reached out to Kyle Prometheus for a trailer. So we'll have it at the beginning. I'm hoping to see it tonight. I'm getting the campaign page built. I'm all excited. I'm all excited. But like I said, so I'll wait another week. What's another week in the grand scheme of thing? Launching on Michael Bancroft. You know, I'm I guess I don't want to say superstitious, but I guess I'm superstitious. So here, I'm gonna show something. Proof that the page is being built. Not that, but here is the Fund My Comic page being built. You know, so we got work to do, but it's starting, and you know, I I I have to start it and log it out, and you have to put an image to get it made, and then I hand it off. Somebody else is building it for me. Okay. Where that tongue is looking for a spot to land. Call it the panel right before the peril begins. When the suspense. I got that book. Need to read it. This book. You got this book. Sorry to hear the market is rough. Glad some of our guys are doing well. Yes, yes, yes. Friday, April 4th at Bancroft sounds good. I'll keep it. Yeah, I'm gonna start blasting it out. Tomorrow, probably because tonight, literally, I gotta go right to bed after RJ. Uh, I'm on a new job. I'm in Manhattan, so it's it's a tougher commute, but I'm in the same position. My foreman got fired. He rubbed people the wrong way, and he fought with somebody he shouldn't have fought with, and he got fired. And a new foreman came in, and he's he lowered the staff. So we had two guys that handle legit material handling, and he cut it down to one. So the older guy, even though I was there first, the older guy. So I got the same position at another job. I'm in Manhattan for the first time in like 15 years. I'm actually traveling to Manhattan, and you know what? I I like it. It's actually I didn't think I was gonna like it until I got here. I haven't been to Manhattan. I've been isolated at the airport for like 15 years. So you get to the airport and you have to cross like a security banner. There's no delis. There's nothing. So like you bring your own lunch, you bring your own coffee, things like that. And I just got used to it. And one thing I'm definitely not missing the noise of the airplanes all day long. Like I do think I have some hearing loss because of that. Just all day long, airplanes taking off, and that lose like everybody would stop and watch the airplanes take off because they were literally like there's a fence right here, and the airplanes were like just beyond the fence. I had a clearance. I could walk out. I could walk out onto the runways, stuff like that. I had the full on red pass, but I had to give that all up when I leave. And now I'm in Manhattan taking the subway, and I didn't realize I missed it. It's I kind of miss it. I kind of I like it's like old school. The apprentices go get coffee for us. We get coffee. There's coffee trucks. Like Friday, I want to stop and go outside and get a hot dog from a hot dog. I haven't had a hot dog from a hot dog stand in Manhattan in years. Go to Penn Station. Like yesterday, I just missed my train. I was talking to people after work, and I just missed my train. And I don't like rushing, so I had 20 minutes in Penn Station. I went and I got sushi. Sitting there. It's like I don't know. It's like the way my job was for the first 20 years. So I kind of like it, and it's different. And it's different. Is that a frog? Is what a frog? The monster on my cover? Just be moderately stitious, not superstitious. Yes, yes. I'll be non. What's you know non-meta. Do you work on buildings with any Mohawks? It's true they used to be hired a lot because they're not afraid of heights. Yeah, the iron workers. Uh, whenever a building is new and they're putting up the steel, the steel girders, there's a lot of travelers, like guys from all over. Because how often is a building being erected? That you need ironwork, so they travel around the country, and yeah, there's a lot of. They're barbarians. They those guys are, you don't want to mess with them. They are always tough. They're always strong, you know, and they're very clannish because they travel around together throughout the country. You know, I think they like miss their families. You know, they're gone for months at a time. You know, yeah, and yeah, that is true that there would be Indians on it. I think anyone who works construction has hearing loss. Yeah, yeah, hearing loss and back injuries. The hot dogs are much more expensive. Everything's much more expensive. Everything is much more expensive. You know, cup of coffee is much more expensive. Where I live, a cup of coffee is like $1.25. You know, you go to Queens, it's like over $2, and then you go to Manhattan, it's like over $3. You know, even Manhattan, it's more expensive. Yes, the creature of Mary Sue reminds me of creatures from Resident Evil. Is it a frog? Well, I described it as toad-like to Renzo. You know, he drew it first. Renzo drew it first, and then I sent the images to Josh so that there'd be. So yes, the story of what they will be is all in. Well, again, not all of it. So other comic book news. If issue 2 of Heroic Tales does good, which I have a gut feeling that it'll do the same, if not better, than issue 1, and that's all it takes. I'm going to have the Patriarch in his own comic, and then Heroic Tales is going to stay like I envisioned it, rotating superheroes. So every issue of Heroic Tales will have 2 different superhero stories. And what I'm thinking is, because everything's got to be the same patterns and crazy people. So issue 1 and 2 of Heroic Tales had 2 Patriarch stories. I'm thinking, so issue 1 had Patriarch and the suit. And then issue 2 is going to have the Patriarch of Mary Sue. I think issue 3 will have Mary Sue and the Raven, and then the next issue will be the Raven and somebody else. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking going forward. Safe travels on the subways. I have confidence in the train, but some of the people, the Long Island Railroad's fine. So I used to stop in Queens and get off, so I had to pay a difference because now I'm going all the way into Manhattan. So I had to trade in my monthly ticket and get a monthly ticket with an upgrade, which is fine. But it's a longer ride, so I wake up a half hour earlier. So instead of waking up at 4:30, I now wake up at 4 every morning and go to work, and then I just sleep like a baby. I always slept on the Long Island Railroad in the morning, but I always slept like I could miss my stop. Because I would stop in Queens and I have to get off the train would continue to Penn Station. Now I go right to Penn Station, and they're like, everybody over. So I sleep like a baby now. So there you go. I was in the NYC last. They corporatized the hot dogs. I haven't gotten them yet. I'm curious. I'll let you know how much they cost. Your boy Zach just wants to sell us the hot dog, but I don't see him pushing the cart around Comic Cons. Don't get me started about your boy Zach. Yeah. I'd never seen anybody just like turn on their fans like the way that guy did. And I'm pretty loyal, so it hurt my feelings. There's no other way to say it. Neat. Who would win an arm wrestling match, the Patriarch or Chuck Norris? The Patriarch. Chuck Norris is an 85-year-old man without superpowers. Patriarch. Even because the Patriarch doesn't have super strength, but he's a 45-year-old man who works out. He eats properly. He does everything. You know what I mean? He's versus an 85-year-old man. So Patriarch's going to win. If he uses his powers, the Chuck Norris will be vaporized into small droplets of blood. So that's the news. I guess I'll show these off. I got the Mary Sue coin. So here, this is the Patriarch coin. So both of them have Heroic Tales. This is a little blemish, so I don't sell this one. This is my copy. There's like a little indentation on it, but they all say Heroic Tales, and then this has the Patriarch symbol, and then this says Heroic Tales, and it has the Mary Sue symbol. And I'm already. I want to wait a week to see how the Patriarch, how Heroic Tales number 2, and then I'm going to put in the order for the Raven, because he's going to debut in issue 3 for the Raven coin, because it takes a long time. It takes a long time. So these will be available on the campaign. These challenge coins, it's too late to make these for the Mary Sue, but I'll put these challenge coins on this, and then if there's a demand for them, I'll make challenge coins for Mary Sue. I got stickers and everything like that. Eddie is Doomed is chugging along. This campaign, the only stretch goals are going to be cards. Every $1,000, I'm going to unlock a card, and there's 15 cards. Any cards that are not unlocked, when the campaign's over, you could buy, a full set of cards for, I don't know, 15 cards. I don't know how much, because it was 7 cards for $10, because it cost me, I don't even know how much it cost me to make a card. I got to do the math again, but I don't know. I'll come up with a price, because it was or it's $2 a card. So $2, so it's $30 for 15 cards. I guess so. Maybe $20. Maybe I'll do $20 for a full set of 15. That's more reasonable. I don't want to screw anybody. I just want to be able to fund the next issue. What if Chuck Norris uses powers? He doesn't have powers. He's just an old man. Chuck Norris uses powers to pirate Chuck. Well, Chuck Norris doesn't have powers. He's just an old man. Chuck Norris is never going to give you up, although JD is catching up with the meme count. Yep. I know that Chuck Dixon classified Bane as an oh shit villain, but he was always lame to me. What are your thoughts on the character? Well, I'm officially Chuck Dixon's buddy. But I don't like Bane. Never liked Bane. He looked silly to me. And looks are 90% of a character's appeal. Batman looks cool. Wolverine looks cool. Superman looks cool. Bane looks goofy. I never liked Bane. Sorry, Chuck. Sorry, Graham. I'm not saying he's a bad character. I'm just saying I also don't like the Joker. So what do I know? But I never liked Bane. The next time Chuck Norris uses his powers, he'll get karate kicked back time. But he doesn't have powers. He's just an 85-year-old man who's about to die soon, because he's just an 85-year-old man without powers. All right. There's nothing else for me to talk about. I want to. 15. I got 15 minutes to heat up my burrito and get on with RJ from the Fourth Age. So see you guys. I don't have any guests tomorrow, so I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I do have it's clobbering time Friday at 8:30, but I don't have a guest for tomorrow, and I don't have a guest for Thursday for Friday. I've been real lame, so we'll see what. All right. That adult Harley Quinn canon turned Bane into an utter pussy. Definitely on purpose. Yeah, because they're probably still mad at Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan for having the wrong beliefs. See you soon, Zach Tan. The patriarch is made up, therefore Chuck Norris wins. I could beat up Chuck Norris. I'll tell you that right now. I could beat up Chuck Norris. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.